Real Enigmas and Theories is back again with another video. Have you ever noticed how certain themes, symbols, and storylines seem to pop up across multiple movies and TV shows all at once? It's as if there's a hidden hand with a magic wand guiding the creative output of Hollywood to influence what we see on screen. This phenomenon extends beyond simple trend following and feels more like a coordinated effort or a quiet orchestration of ideas that appear to resonate on a deeper, perhaps even subconscious level with the audience. Some of the most compelling examples of this reoccurrence of specific symbolic motifs like eggs, checkered patterns, one-eye symbolism, ritual child offerings, goats, along with the Vesica Piscis and other sacred geometry, even the Wizard of Oz references. Each of these symbols carry a heavy esoteric history and a profound culture meaning that seems too deliberate to be dismissed as a mere coincidence. Some of this symbolism actually makes its way into our perceived reality and begs the question on if there's a hidden hand in the shadows of Hollywood making sure that these motifs are inserted into entertainment intentionally. This evening, we're going to examine the TV show From and make a few connections to symbolism and common themes in Hollywood. But before we do, go ahead and do all that good YouTube stuff and pull out those magnifying glasses. Let's cook. Now, I'm going to recap some of the revelations in my latest From video and show you how they fit with some of these new revelations. I revealed the hidden clues about the root symbol, the number 47, and how they connect to events that were going to happen in 2024. Now, these clues were heavy throughout the first two seasons. Even the Cicadas were hinting at a rare double brood event that happened in 2024. An event so rare that the last time it happened was 1803, and the next time it's going to happen is in 2245, so that's pretty rare. Several shows made mentions of cicadas as well. The Netflix series Inside Job made a reference to Cicada 3301 in 2021. Season 5 of The Flash's villain was named Cicada. The anime Higurashi dropped in 2020, which is the name of a Japanese cicada. But the 2024 American eclipse that happened on April 8th completed an arrangement of pathways that resemble the root symbol that Jade was seeing. Not only that, this particular eclipse is directly connected to From's filming location in Nova Scotia. As a matter of fact, the eclipse passed directly over Nineveh, Nova Scotia before entering the United States. Not only the similarities of the symbol and the eclipse pathways, but the contextual reference as well, with the eclipse passing over Nova Scotia and then going into America, speaks to the nuance of the people in town all traveling in the contiguous United States, and the show is being filmed directly in the state's pathway of the eclipse. We had the 47 on the radio. 47 was encoded in the Tabitha's hospital room. Father Khatri spoke about the 74th book of the Bible. Tilly had 4 children and 7 grandchildren. And then we have another event that happened in 2024, which was the attempt on Donald Trump. And that's connected to the 7 and 4 or the 4 and 7 as well, because not only did he become the 47th president, but the shooter's name was Thomas Matthew, which is the name of Jim and Tabby's youngest child. But peep this, that attempt happened on July 13th, which is another 7 and a 4. July being the 7th month, and the 13th, 1 and 3 equal 4. Even during the time of that attempt, the TV show The Boys on Amazon had an episode where there was an attempt made on a presidential candidate in the episode. And mind you, all of the connections in From were things that we saw in the first 2 seasons of From. which had to be filmed at least 2 years before that attempt and this past election. I revealed how Boyd's speeches outside of the diner in episode 309 was much like Trump's speeches about fighting back and taking back the country.
We are taking our lives back. It's possible to fight back. We proved it once before, and I am asking for your help to prove it again.
Yo, and as I'm editing this video, I just realized, didn't Reggie take an attempt out on Boyd? Perhaps it's life imitating art, or that hidden hand is writing the script and giving us clues beforehand via Hollywood. Because I know I'm not the only skeptic of that attempt, right? But that's another video for another page. Jade in season 2 references the Venn diagram when him and Tabby were standing outside the cave entrance. And then he pretty much said that exact same line in the season 3 finale, which adds another strange connection to the election and Kamala Harris. It's a small connection, but she stated time and time again that she absolutely loves Venn diagram. She said it over 20 times. Go look it up for yourself. Moreover, something that was staring me right in the face the whole time was the Venn diagram is a Vesica Piscis, which is something that I've been talking about on this channel since season 2, which led me to the hidden symbolism of the Mr. Fish and Loaves reference to the Book of Matthews, which Father Khatri actually brings up on the show. That connection led me to the ovum, which is the shape created by the Vesica Piscis, and it's a reference to fertility and the divine feminine along with the egg. And before the naysayers start up with the
"Here he goes with this egg stuff. Fatima didn't lay an egg,"
here's Angela Moore, who plays Bacta, speaking to Pegah Ghaffori, who plays Fatima, in a live stream, and they're talking about the egg.
Like everything she went through in her belly and how it went concave, and then like the egg, oh, girl, like the egg, oh, girl. The rotten food was feeling every little bone cracking moment there.
Now, I've noticed the hidden hand placing the egg references in a few things other than from. Putting Tien Chen's picture on a deviled egg plate made me remember the deviled egg party that they had on Severance. And even on The Penguin, Sophia Falcone was eating at her brother's funeral. I believe I saw her scoff down a deviled egg or two. I also revealed the connections to the Wizard of Oz and the gallows humor that they use in From. And when you think about it, the Penguin himself was named Oz or Oswald, and Sophia was literally dubbed as the Hangman. Now, Harold Perrineau, the guy who plays Boyd, also played in the HBO series Oz. And the Wizard of Oz itself has children popping out of eggs looking just like Smiles Davis. The Wizard of Oz references are right on time with the release of the movie Wicked and Donna's mention of the yellow brick road, and then you had the house falling on a guy named Brick. Now, there's also a movie called Yellow Brick Road, and it has a character who references her grandmother being from Maine, which is a nod to Salem's Lot, which they just dropped a Salem's Lot movie in 2024, and it's on Hulu right now. And the house in that movie looks damn near just like Colony House. They also feature a milkman in that movie, a kid losing his memory, a red wagon just like the one in the tunnels on From. Then you have the series Chapel Wait, which is about Jerusalem's Lot, which is also an MGM production that was airing next to From. Salem's Lot and Jerusalem's Lot are both tied together through Stephen King. Then you have the show Teacup, and in the first episode, the little boy follows a goat into the woods just like Ethan followed the goat outside. And Teacup has several music references that we find in From as well. Even Jade calls Jim Teacup. Then you have the Watchers movie, and it's pretty much like a movie version of From. The symbolism and everything, from bird cages to monsters coming out to people being stuck. It's pretty much like a movie version of From. And all of these productions with similar themes and symbolism are being pushed through the pipeline at the same time, and that's curious to say the least. Now, the overlying theme that seems to be reflected in much of Hollywood's production is the ritualistic child offering, and this seems to be the main element or asset in From, or at least what started this enigmatic situation. This sentiment is no doubt rooted in esoteric mysticism, and it's tied deep into the hidden world of Hollywood's esoteric rituals. The hidden hand is holding a magic wand made from the wood of a holly tree, hence the name Hollywood. In previous videos, I have revealed the connection between Jewish and Masonic mysticism, connections to the Bible, and links to Jim, Jade, Tabitha, and the ritual offerings being played out directly on screen. Couple that with the revelation of the Ankui kids and what happened to them. I just want to be straight up here for a second though. When we first saw them kids, you already knew something fucked up had happened to them. I mean, they looked like they was pulled through a keyhole and then thrown in one of the machines where they defeathered the chicken. It was no doubt in my mind that that was a CPS situation right there. But the foster parents would have had to take them to a dog groomer or something because they was too bad off for just the conventional bathing and some baby lotion. That wasn't gonna work. Talking about pouring their hope into the roots. That tree must have been on the side of some old ass Timberland boots. Or maybe their hope was poured into the roots of the holly tree. Jim being sacrificed in episode 310 made me immediately think about the sacrificial cow in episode 301. 310, 301, same numbers. And this happened to Jim after learning about his wife's past lives and what she had done to her child. In Leviticus 18:21, God tells Moses, "Do not allow any of your offspring to be offered unto Molech." Molech is the Canaanite deity associated with child ritual offering and has the head of a bovine or cow. However, some scholars say that Molech is the name of the actual ritual itself. But my question would be, a ritual to who? Molech is also associated with Baal or Baal or Baal, who is found in the Lemegeton or the Lesser Key of Solomon. So this begs the question, who promised the people eternal life? Who were they offering their children to? I'm sure they're gonna write something dope for season 4, but the symbolic reference is already laid out right in front of us. Aleister Crowley, the self-entitled great beast of modern occultism, was a key figure in broadcasting esoteric concepts that we find saturated through Hollywood today. His famous credo, "Do what thou wilt," served as a liberating force for artists and pushed them to explore occult motifs like the one-eyed symbolism, sacred geometry, and ritualistic references under the guise of creative freedom. When we see the reoccurring themes of eggs, checkered patterns, or even the Wizard of Oz illusions across multiple TV shows and films, these echoes might be traced back to Crowley's Thelema occult system. The ritual themes tied to children, goats, hidden deities, and mainstream entertainment are also suspected offshoots of this school of thought, hinting at a quiet orchestration that aligns with Crowley's emphasis on magic and hidden knowledge. Crowley's ideas have influenced modern paganism, Satanism, chaos magic, and various New Age metaphysical movements along with Hollywood. Connecting Crowley's occult circles directly to Hollywood highlights intriguing ties to figures like the rocket engineer named Jack Parsons and the entire subculture in California that flirted with Crowley's ceremonies. Jack Parsons used to host occult rituals in California that included the likes of L. Ron Hubbard, who was like the future father of Scientology, and others. Those circles overlap like Venn diagrams with Hollywood creatives that were curious about the great beast and his ritual. Parallels to ritual child offerings in fictions, the notions of pouring one's hope into mysterious trees, or even the complex geometry of the Vesica Piscis and From all align with what some of his followers might call symbolic portals to a deeper truth. Whether it's the appearance of cicadas that's tied to a calendar-based prophecy, the presence of a hidden hand guiding the scripts, or subliminal nods to biblical verses or sacrificial offerings, Crowley's ideas have arguably greased the wheels of Hollywood in its secret love language. These influences working all together to show us different symbolism and strange alignments that are coming in shows all at the same time seem less coincidental and more like an intentional spell casting on a collective imagination. And from all of the bleeding eyes, Clara's eye, the corpse in the root cellar, the Civil War soldier had one eye messed up, the Puritan dude drinking from the skull had one eye messed up, and even Sarah removing Elgin's eye, that's definitely the result of deliberate placement. I even noticed on the TV show Doom Prophecy, the character Desmond Hart has like a mechanical parasite inside of his eye on his optical nerve controlling his behavior. Ever heard of the Vril worm? Go look it up. Even Victor's father, Henry, had a black eye that was inconsistent with any of his injuries. I mean, the car was hit on the left side and he swung to the right, but he didn't hit her, he didn't hit anything, and his eye was black on the right. So what does that mean? Also, I even heard my man Percy bringing up the fact that the children had panda eyes. So what does that mean? The eye symbolism also is a direct matchup to the Vesica Piscis. I mean, we even see this symbolism on the back of our money in America, the American dollar bill with the Norvis Ordo Seclorum. So let me just give you a breakdown of how I do this a little bit. I'm going to reveal one of the simple symbolic threads, if you will. Okay, so we have Boyd, who frees the three, who was it? Mari, Julie, and Randall. He frees them with the torch, right? But he's the father of Ellis, as in Ellis Island, where the Statue of Liberty holds the torch. However, that's not the chain or the thread itself. The thread lies in the fact that all 3 seasons, Boyd was carrying fire in the end, right? In many cultures, they use fire to symbolize authority, knowledge, and wisdom. And when you pass the torch or the fire, it is symbolic of the transfer of that authority or knowledge or wisdom, right? So in season 1 finale, we saw Boyd striking his lighter when he was trapped in the well. He was holding fire or carrying fire or gesturing fire. And in season 2, of course, he had the torch. And in season 3, he had the lantern, which also was symbolic of him carrying the fire, gesturing the fire. The word gesture means to carry or perform, but it really means to carry because it actually is symbolic of childbirth, right? And so after Fatima gives birth to the egg, he gestures the fire into the tunnel and sees what comes out of the egg, which who he before actually stated the words, "My blood is your blood." And then he comes through Fatima as the grandbaby of sorts, right? So the only problem that I had with that is that Fatima was pregnant before Smiles Davis got killed, but I digress. We're not even gonna go there. All 3 times Boyd was carrying the fire. And by the way, the word gesture means to carry, as in gestate, as what a pregnant woman is doing, like she is in gestation period with the child. So that's just a little breakdown of how I do it and how I look at the shows. And when I see these symbolisms, it just all connects for me. Now, the practice of dropping esoteric jewels in entertainment isn't new at all. It's actually been going on for centuries. Heavy players like kings and queens and priests and societies, secret societies, they all figured out real quick how to hook the crowd with stories. And back in the day, They used to set up elaborate shows that weren't just for entertainment or laughs. They were basically spiritual plays. Kind of think of it like an ancient VIP access. You got the symbols and signs tucked into the drama while they're bypassing our conscious filters and registering directly within our psyche. Fast forward that to now, and those same vibes have evolved into what we call modern day Hollywood, and it has been inserted in all of the movies, TV shows, even the music videos that you watch, even the music itself. That's why you keep spotting shit like eggs, checkerboard floors, the one-eye symbolism, the Vesica Piscis, all of these things like the hexagon, the octagon. These things are symbolic, and they use these things over and over again in Hollywood. It's not just random. The reason why is because these symbols have roots going all the way back to being carved in temple walls and old school manuscripts, and now they're popping up in our modern media like they never left. Take the show From, for example. It's loaded with wild numerology like the number 47, weird cicada shout-outs, and references to other flicks that are pushing the themes of child offerings or just straight up nods to the Wizard of Oz. Could be just a bunch of coincidences, or it might be a planned out, spiritual, conspiratorial, or just a slick ass hustle. Either way, it makes you wonder who gains from sliding these hidden clues into our favorite shows. And more importantly, how do they mess with our heads on a bigger level? We might not have all the answers yet, but once you start noticing these patterns, you can't unsee it. And after a major event happens on the world stage, in hindsight, you could see that something was trying to tell you that before it even happened, just like the Trump shit. That's when you realize that there might be a puppet master in the cut somewhere, weaving an old ass occult secrets into the mainstream stories and continuing a tradition older than your great grandmom's headscarf. All in all, these interwoven symbols raise the question whether we're witnessing a well-planned mystical unveiling or merely a string of coincidences. The reoccurring references point to a deeper structure for sure. Somebody's using the entertainment industry as a massive stage to enact or perpetuate spellcasting. This is why when they pick people for their productions, it's called casting. Also, when you broadcast something and you are putting it on the screen, is casting, broadcasting to a broad audience. Even if it's Crowley's Thelema, old world mysticism, or modern day secret societies that are fueling these symbolic choices, the end game seems to be the same. It's to imprint certain ideas, rituals, and archetypes into our collective conscience. And as we dig deeper into these puzzle pieces, like the 2024 eclipse or the cryptic 47 references, a broader envelope unfolds, suggesting that Hollywood may be less about storytelling, more about spellcasting. And if that's the case, then these shows and films aren't just entertainment, they're a catalyst for something bigger. So the next time you settle in to sit down and watch something, understand that these random plot devices could be carefully placed breadcrumbs leading you to occult history and perhaps even shaping your perceived reality without you even noticing it. So if you rock with this video, tap that screen a couple times by liking, sharing, and hopping down into the comments to get the convo started. And if you haven't already subbed, I hope this is the one to make you do it. Anyway, just a little something to think about while we wait on the next episode. That's all for my video today. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.